Just a plug for tonight is the main gym at the middle school, high school grand reopening. It's, there's gonna be the bond, all the plans are gonna have big posters up, um, on what's happening, the plans, because they're gonna start taking effect this summer. They're gonna start working on a lot of stuff this summer. They're gonna be, we have vintage uniforms, um, Falcon and Cougar team, selling for pretty cheap. But lots of excitement. The new superintendent will be there. She'll be coming, recognizing some of the teams that won, the basketball teams that won states in like, it'll just be a fun South Whidbey event. Yeah, so there's two basketball games. The girls will play first at 5 p.m. and then boys play, I think, 6:30. Oh, yes. Yep, yep. You don't have to stay for the games. And it's free. There's no entry fee for the games. Yeah, it's a donation only, benefit. So welcome. I'm, doing do you want to start? Don't forget your,
Not here today. She's actually doing a workshop up at the ESD, I believe, because we are the Lighthouse School, and part of that grant was that you do outreach to other schools to share what kind of programs you're doing to help, raise everybody. So she asked me to cover for her today, and this is part of it. Kristy is going to be our guest speaker today. She is amazing person that takes care of all of us in the whole district, and part of her job is communications officer.
actually, first I'm gonna introduce director, and he was gonna share with us about the superintendent search.
I didn't really have any prepared remarks. I was just here in case anybody had questions about the process or about anything else.
Well, let me start with the website because that will add to both of them. So I'm here, I'm the communications director for the school district. So I handle all of the social media, all of the website, the navigator, Parent Square, kind of the direction that communicate. We onboarded pickup patrol and peach jar, those kind of things. School board, all the communications for the agenda minutes, all the public records, communication, a lot of communication, the superintendent's communication, so forth. So, um, the big one that I think I always feel like is the website. Like we need to be present, we need to provide as much information as possible, be transparent. And so we try to make the website as robust as possible that you can find your answers at your fingertips. Um, for some people, don't always find it, but one of the big things I always want to tell everyone is up here, there's always the, and it's pretty good. If you ever are looking for something, you can just search engine and say whatever you come up. And if not, my email is just info at sw.winnet, and it's the bottom here. If you click that, you can't find what you're looking for, just email me and I'll direction. Yeah.
Oh, it's good to know that it's going to
It's not going to a robot, it's coming directly to me. Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah. If I don't know the answer, I'll tell you I don't know the answer. I'll tell you that I'll usually share somebody else into the answer to say, oh, this person's the one who knows back to you as soon as they can. If I know the answer, I'll give it to you right away. But yeah. So anyway, the website, one of the things I want to show you is we've put up here some of the really recent important things. So for instance, right now, the superintendent search, if you click that, it takes you to a carried into a file in our district and our superintendent and superintendent search. If you have any questions or want to know more about Dr. Becky Clifford, who's going to be our next superintendent, there is, you can come down here and you can see her little bio. Click it, it's actually 2 pages. Remember, always try to click things, because a lot of times when you look at something, it looks like broken, but it's because you need to click it to open it. And so like, so that's that. In addition, if you wanted more information about this superintendent search and what's going on, we're currently at the status of now the contract. So contract negotiations. Yeah, so here. Yeah, so basically, this is where we're at. We've chosen the superintendent, and now it's the middle of just contract. Yeah. hmm So it's been updated as we've gone along. So from the green to the purple. We'll get to the purple when she starts in July 1st. But meanwhile, the board will be, they're doing negotiations and they should be reviewing it February 26th, I think is the board meeting. And at that time, once the contract is signed, she's not our superintendent until July 1st. But I believe we will see her. Dr. Becky Clifford.
So where was she from?
Anacortes. Yeah, well, she's got a diverse background. So she is originally from New York and yeah,
Each person.
yeah. Yeah, I would suggest coming and reading her little bio. It kind of Washington, she's worked Seattle and then most recently. From here? Mind putting, that way that's recorded, yeah.
Anytime that they can click text to expand to get more information, you could just add a simple button that says more info. You can name the button whatever you want. You can just add that in, and then people will know, instead of intuitively or not intuitively clicking
Oh.
and missing the information, you could just add that CTA button for people.
Okay. Ian, can you help me with that? So let me introduce Ian Turner. He's our IT director. I asked him to come. Technically, Ian is the whole person that is behind, he does everything technology in the district. So huge kudos to him because nothing would run without Ian here. All the one-to-one Chromebooks, all the programs that we use, all the ability to do everything Zoom. Yeah, so hopefully, because that part I'll have to work with him to do it, but it's a good suggestion. Thank you. Yeah, so is there any questions that you might have about the superintendent search that Joe might? Okay, so then I'll go on to
If no one
just,
has, I didn't have any prepared remarks, but I'm a politician, so I could talk for a while about it. I won't, but I just want to thank everybody in the community for all the input. For an entire year, it was a very long process. Everything from choosing the search firm to the actual search process itself. Um, we had opportunities for community input, culminating with the 3 finalists here in the district, where we had about 120 people at the forum where you could meet them between in person and on Zoom. And then afterwards, people had the opportunity to fill out an online feedback form. And we got, I think, 280-ish pieces of feedback from the community. And that was really, really important because all 3 candidates were really good and it was a tough decision. So we took input from a whole number of constituent groups, including the community. So really appreciated getting all that feedback. And like I said, it was a hard choice, but I think we made a really good choice, and I'm looking forward to having Dr. Clifford join us. Okay, great. Yeah, great question. For me personally, my vote was because of Dr. Clifford's experience in special ed. And it's one of the more common things I hear from parents and family members who have students with an IEP or a 504 plan, that they feel that their student isn't getting the supports that they need to succeed. And so I'm very optimistic that Dr. Clifford will bring her experience um, from Everett. When she worked at Everett School District, she was in charge of special ed there, and she had did like a turnaround there, and there was demonstrable change in the data for positive outcomes for special ed students. Thanks. Oh, and for people on the recording, the question was, how did I break what was essentially a three-way tie between three really great candidates?
Yeah, since this is recorded, I want to make sure it gets put on there because that is a really great question. And I do have a child with an IEP, so that input. Also, I want to say on record, I really like the arrow. I didn't say it on record. I really like the visual because I'm a visual person. I love that visual. So I want to say that too.
The other question that everybody asks about is the bond. And so we try to make sure we're updating the bond page when things are happening. And like I said, tonight at the basketball game, the main Jim Grino reopening, they're going to have the posters for what's happening and the plans and so forth. So you can see quite a bit. But the priorities are a nice thing to look at to see kind of the plan. What's the plan and how we're going to move from immediate to kind of the last things.
So are these?
They're actually, no, I think they have more. Yeah. Yeah. I'm hoping that we'll get whatever they bring there and then put them on the website. So that's, yeah. We'll find out tonight because they're bringing them over. So we'll see. They're coming from the architect, so they're gonna be visual. A lot, yeah, a lot might already be in these that they presented. But also, there's a community forum on February 19th that is for the bond updates, right? I believe that's the, yeah. February 19th, I believe. And this is where, to make sure I've got this correct, I'm going to go into Parent Square. Up here. Yeah.
It's
So
at
my-
6:30 on Wednesday, February 19th.
So you're going to see far more right now because unfortunately I can't. You're going to see my Parent Square versus I can't replicate a Eric Parent Square. So it may look a little bit different, but as you know, if you've been on Parents, has everyone gone on Parent Square? Oh, yeah. Okay, good. Okay, so you know. So one of the big things that I do is the navigator, and I send this out basically twice a month. And so this open. So when you receive an email or the note that the notification versus text or app, it's only your notification, right? Technically, you should be opening your message in Parent Square because that's the way to see the full message. And especially when it comes to, I'm trying to get everyone to do their permission slips instead of on paper to do them through. Because it really helps to keep them contained together instead of having a whole bunch of loose papers. I believe for the teachers, all that information in one place, we access it when it's necessary. But, right. Right. The other thing that is really nice, and maybe Val can help me influence the teachers to do it more, is it's, yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, there's a lot of people that love paper, right? And I'm not an anti-paper, but I'm trying to reduce the amount of paper. And so the one thing with doing our permission slips digitally is that I can send reminders, like not to everybody because the people who've done it have already done it, but just to the people who haven't done it and say, hey. And for some people with your phones, your name, you don't have to type it up again because it'll just auto-populate, right, based on your phone. But anyway, so that's just, we can do with Parent Square. Don't use it to its fullest potential because does a lot, but we do use it quite a bit for different things. And hopefully as the teachers are getting used to it and the parents are getting used to it. And if you know other school districts, it's spreading across the nation because it's just very easy. Even Oak Harbor's website is done by Parent Square. That they started the website later than our website, so that wasn't an option for us. But it's, you know, just becoming one of those things that really helps communicate better. So in the navigator that I send out, one of the things that I always try to do is make sure that you have these important dates. So I try to do, this is district wide. So I'm not doing just a school. This is for, I try to pull things from might not get like your classroom events in there. It's going to be more the big things across the district that are happening. So the days off and so forth. Okay. Great. Oh, good. Oh, you're welcome. I'm so appreciative that you guys look at it. So, and then the button, of course, these blue bars are buttons. So that'll click, if you click that, it goes straight to the paper calendar. So if you need a calendar, you can just go. Remember that the nice thing about Parent Square is all of these stay together in your Parent Square, and you can always click in a search in the Parent Square site navigator up here in the search for your posts, and then you can bring them up. So if you say you don't have time to read it, right, and suddenly you've got 10 more posts from the school or the teacher or whatever, you can be like, okay, I need to Sunday. I'm like, okay, I know the date's probably going to be in that navigator, or I know I saw something in the navigator, or someone mentioned something. But I try to pull from all the schools. I'm looking at their Parent Square posts. I'm looking at the calendars from across the school district. I'm listening to what the principals are saying and trying to pull all of that and put it into one place so that parents who have kids in multiple schools kind of see it in one place. But in addition, for those who maybe are in the elementary school that don't have kids in the higher grades can see, oh, what's happening in the higher grades. And then, go ahead.
Well, I was wondering if you guys have any analytics on who uses Parent Square on a mobile device versus a desktop device, and if you've considered how you optimize your messaging based on the usage.
So hopefully I can pull that up here in the home. This tells me who is being contactable. Can you see that? And then I believe click this. So bring it to. There is a way, but I know it might be here where it's now who's, but truly I should find that information for you.
I will just say that as a parent, things get lost. I do like Parent Square. I think it's a great way to, but I use my mobile device with Parent Square, I'd say exclusively. Don't think I'm alone. But things get lost easily because they get buried and it's hard to navigate. So I'm wondering if you looked at the analytics to understand how people are using it, to better inform if, you do need how that home screen looks for people that are using a mobile device, if that's an option with that software, just something to consider so that parents are able to easily navigate and use the app, because I do think it's a great app.
So that is actually one of the big things that I've talked to Parent Square a lot. We don't have any control over changing anything on Parent Square. We can provide posts and we can provide the data that goes over, but we can't change the way it looks. And so every time that we need changes, I have to contact Parent Square and make the request, and then it gets added to their requests across the nation. And if there's enough requests for something to be changed across the nation, then they make the change. And so, for instance, we have done that many, many times, like, oh, I need this. And so then they're like, we'll add it to the list. And then we get updates every month. And the great thing is that Parent Square was created by teachers, parents, and the people who are working there now and creating changes are also teachers and parents that are, they're not doing it to, I want to say they're not doing it to make money, but they're really trying to make communication. The hardship is when they started it, it was just for the computer. And because phones continuously change, the phone is definitely, you can tell that it's the add-on, right? The secondary. And they know that 90% of the people are using their phones only.
Essentially, the communication then should be, hey, this percentage of our users are mobile users, and, this is the feedback we're getting, and, maybe they will make a change. I do think because you're asking the parents to use it, so it's also important, right, that it's as user-friendly as possible, and the user experience wants to bring people back to the app again and again to find the information.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I do have to back. There's some things. That's unfortunate that it's gone that way, but at the same time, I think the company has been pretty, I had numerous complaints off to difference between phone and desktop is huge. Much easier to use on a desktop. There's no, I use it almost exclusively, just like troublesome, okay? Ability to do a good search. That's where I lose things, and I assume this. Saw that somewhere. Where the heck is it? Everything over messages, over bulletins, over this, over that, because I can't remember where the heck I saw it. Probably part of the problem you see.
No, totally agree. That's been my biggest complaint to them, that the app on the phone has to be as good as the computer, because because I use my phone as well. I mean, I send messages out. I can't do the navigator. I've tried to do it on my phone, but but I've, especially so I do all the robocalls, so the 5 a.m. calls to everyone. And there's times where my computer, I can't get started because there's no Wi-Fi in the house, right? And so my phone can work. So then I do it. So thank goodness that we can do so much on our phone. But I totally agree with you, and I'm totally working with them I'm not working with them, I'm pestering them, is what it is. And complaining to them, like, we need this to be changed. And so every time I think of something, if something comes up, I let them know. So I'll tell them that we need better searchability on the app.
Christina, would it help if those of us parents who are having some issues like write down and say, hey, I tried to find this and couldn't find it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and send that to you, say, hey, I don't know where the heck it's at. Because then you might be able to see, oh, well, you're searching for this, but that's over in this type of message and the search doesn't talk to Parent Square more intelligently about. Would that help at all, or would that just
Yeah.
clutter your inbox?
No, I welcome those because I'll take them sometimes and just cut and paste the whole thing to them and let them know this is the problem. And because versus me having to reiterate,
Parent has the time to do so and wants to give feedback like, on their experience with the app, in-app, I would, as a developer brain, partially, that's where they're gonna look at it, and then if she cut and paste it too, then they get double. But I get exactly what you mean. She can't just go in there and request to change the format, because they won't. Yeah.
I kind of have the same question about Frontline, and I wanted to know if you would be the same person to talk to about that app on the employee interaction side on using Frontline, or if that's a different contact person. Okay,
yeah,
about like just training or like figuring out a capability on the app. I didn't know. All right, okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
HR or else even Frontline, look and see if there's a help button on there.
I have provided feedback a couple times.
Oh, okay.
And I've gotten fine responses,
Yeah.
but maybe there's something I'm missing capability wise on the app that would help. So I'll contact HR and see what I
Yeah,
can do.
yeah, Heidi might be able to help with that.
Okay,
I know yeah, I don't go on Frontline except for when I'm sick.
that's fine. Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Um, um, any other questions about?
I have maybe a dumb question. I hear students talking about an app called Student Square. Is that basically the same thing, but they call it Student Square when it's for students? Okay, that's what
And
I
their app
figured.
even says Student Square on it.
No question is a dumb question.
Yeah, not at all. So, I wish I could be able to display like the app, but I completely agree about it's not as robust as the desktop. And one of the things that always frustrates me, and especially you'll see all the schools, is when there's messages, there's district messages and then there's school messages. And they don't always cross over very well, and especially not on the app. They're doing more on the desktop, but not as well on the app. And that's one of my big complaints to them too. So when you're searching for something, have to make sure you're in the right spot. If it's coming from the district, it'll be under the district. If it's coming from the school, it'll probably be under the school. Yeah, so that's one of those weird things. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes work around it if you change like if you have an Apple phone and you're not doing a Safari, you go into Chrome, sometimes it'll let you, like it'll miss the mobile and let you do it. But don't forget yeah.
I tried to do that whenever we were here, and I couldn't get from the app to the full site.
Right. Yeah. So just for the video recording, we're talking about how the app, when you're working on the phone, it'll always revert to the app. You can try to go through a different browser to go to the mobile, But that is one of those complaints that we've made to Parent Square. They need to really make their app more robust is what they need to do. And we're getting there. The hardship is the phones always change too. So, and then people have different phones. So it's hard because when you're talking about a mobile device, you're talking about, OS, Android, you've got, Google phones, and then they're continuously updating and changing. And so the app has to change for all of those all the time. And
I know this is weird, fundamental, but see how she's just logged in, right, with her desktop or her laptop? As teachers, as instructors, we're not supposed to be staring at our mobile devices all day. So I've been using Parent Square. I used it in California years ago, and then it caught up here, so I have extensive use.
oh,
And it does work really well as a desktop. Meant for your teachers to be logged in on their desktop. So as they update these things, like iPad and half the apps don't iPad well, as it gets better and as they grow, hope help the consumer. But as he said, essentially it is made logged in. You're not supposed to be looking at your mobile device.
Just one more thing, since we were talking about mobile devices. I have found that my experience on the website, on my mobile device, just the school district website, is I would say potentially not optimized for a mobile device. I'm wondering about that. Is it? Is the website responsive? Okay, because I'm not, like, the images are truncated, and is that just my, okay, so I would.
Oh.
Sure.
okay, back to the website and about the website on the phone is responsive, and sometimes you have to change your orientation of your phone to see it better. But as you know, if you've looked from the phone on the website, all of these suddenly are listed, not across the top, right? Becomes down. So unfortunately, oh, can I show them?
That might be because of me. That happened when I added
Yeah, I saw that.
Marketing the district, and part of that is people's user experience when they're trying to get information. And so these little things do annoy people, and they, it feels like we're not in the modern age necessarily. Even if it's a small glitch, it can, these things can cause problems for people that are trying to search. I'm just bringing it up because I'm here as a parent and I see it, and I think you guys are doing a great job. So it's not a criticism. It's just this is what I'm seeing.
No, we totally appreciate it. Like anything, truly, if you come to a page that doesn't work, please email me, because unfortunately I just don't have the time to check daily on every page. And every once in a while something happens, sometimes unbeknownst how it happened, but it does, where, somebody deleted something and now the whole page doesn't work. And I don't know unless someone says, hey, for instance, just recently, the 25-26 calendar, we had to make an update. And the one that went onto the website was gibberish. It was just complete gibberish, and nobody told me for like 2 weeks that it was gibberish. And then somebody opened it, and finally they said, "Hey, did you know it's gibberish?" I'm like, I mean, it was like alphabets for letters. It didn't make any sense.
Down here, that means that when she uploaded it, the power could have gone out like at
Right,
that exact moment. Like,
exactly.
so sometimes I do understand, but I understand the functionality of this thing.
Yeah. The yeah, and and we're always trying to make it better. So here's some of our constraints, right? So our website is from Final Site, and so we're stuck to their template, to however their process is. And they're not really about making changes. Get what you get. You try to make changes based on what's easier for everybody to see. And for instance, my husband, he was just like, I opened up the app on the phone. I don't know what time school starts. I'm like, dude, just call me. But that should be there. And so, in the if you would have noticed at the beginning of school, I had a big graphic in the beginning. What time school starts? That's for him because he told me. He's just like, I need to know right in front of my face what time school starts. And so I'm very responsive. Like if you tell me, you know what, people are talking about this, they don't know. I'll make sure that it's up there and either we social media or Navigator or on the app or on banners and just try to make sure people know what's happening. So please email me anytime. I
So those of us that come from the corporate world are used to having, 20 testers sitting in a room, testing various operating systems and browsers, and obviously there's not. Has it ever come up or an idea of recruiting X number of parents who, 10 parents, and you say, hey, we're just pushing something out. Can you please test and see if this all works? Or can you just sit down and go through the website once a month and see what doesn't work and let me know? Because you could do that. Not structured like us in the corporate world are used to, test that stuff. It might help you out and it's free.
Yeah.
Okay? I don't know if you get many responses. Yeah, I'd love to do it, and then you're going to ask me to do it, and I have doctor's appointments, and and I don't do it. But
So we used to,
idea.
before we had made this change to to Final Site, we had a communications advisory team, and we welcomed anyone from the community, any teachers, any students who wanted to come and join. And in the beginning, I probably had maybe 20 people that came to the first, told me everything, and we made the changes. And then it dwindled to like nobody was coming to the meetings. And so when we did the website, I had people who wanted to be able to do the website, and unfortunately they couldn't get paid, not a paid position to. And so then they dwindled off. But but I welcome. It doesn't have to be a set. I mean, I welcome everybody. If you see anything, if you want to check things and let me know.
I love the idea of maybe the seniors, juniors over at the high school who are interested in social media, who are interested in these things, fighting for a little internship with you or something like that to
Yes, no,
count
absolutely.
count towards, and they can proofread for you. They can kind of maybe
Oh,
do
I'd
those
love
kinds of things.
that.
Wouldn't that be cool? Like just a
Especially
little
English.
something like that to get the kids involved in this, because I mean, I think I'm cool until I sit with a 17-year-old.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
exactly.
oh,
there a
that's
mark-
my
there's a
my
marketing-
9-year-old. Do you know who my
a marketing
9-year-old
elective
is?
at the high
She'd rather
school?
be in the
Yeah.
library
Maybe someone
playing video
from
games
that
than
from that class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've reached, yeah. Absolutely. No, I've asked them to do a section of the Navigator, like just have a student section in the Navigator. And I've reached out to James Baird, and it was Justin Silva before that, and John Patton and Jeff Green. So I think the students they have a lot already. So unless it's part of their class, and fitting in.
We have like a readiness to learn. We have kids volunteer for certain things like the holiday house, things like that. So it, I think tacking it onto something like that where they would
Yeah,
definitely,
get
have-
volunteer hours.
who knows?
Yeah. Ooh, maybe some of the
Civics
unside.
class, econ class, I don't know, but tacking it onto something like that would, I don't know, just an idea.
I'm going to reach out to Ms. Gandarist at the Honor Society and see if, because they need community service hours. Yeah, that might be thank you. That would be a good, so hopefully, yeah, it would be, I would love to have students be involved and, to proofread because, yeah, no, it's just me. So if you read something and it's wrong, go ahead and email me and let me know that I totally messed up on my English. Long time since I took my grammar classes. So yeah. Oh,
Everybody's a teacher.
right. And I,
That's not proper English.
yeah, and I'd rather have someone tell me, right? So I can correct it because that's the one great thing for me on Parent Square is when I send something out, I can go back in and edit it and change it. Now, the email that you received won't be changed, but at least the Parent Square content will be changed. And like I said, there's a million things happening all the time, and so it happens. It happens all the time where I but yeah, so on this graphic, we put all the dates for coffee with the principal. Yeah, now I'm stuck into this. I don't know how to get out of this app version. Yeah. Huh? Okay. So I recently moved this stuff up. So as you may have seen above that, our vision, and I thought, well, people want the information faster. So I moved this up higher and let me know. Those are the kinds of things I can do. I can move it. It's so clunky. I wish sometimes, but just the fact that we have this is better than in the past we couldn't even.
Word Facebook up there. Kind of wondering if I can take a quick left turn as far as we're talking
Yeah.
about interaction between the district and parents and things like that. Couple things. It's like a statement question here. So I fully can understand trying to bring up some ideas of, hey, can we do this? Hey, can we do that? They can sound great, but when it comes down to actually managing it, I just wanted to describe something that I experienced as a Facebook user. Favorite thing, but it's what we have right now. I get sad that I cannot comment on the post. Now, I understand why. I absolutely understand why. But I find myself wanting to say congratulations to this athlete or to thank the district or the board or all these things. And I find myself minorly sad. I can get over that, not a problem. What I was thinking about is I realized that our page, it's a page. It's not a group. And with page settings, don't have a whole lot of control. I mean, you can turn off comments and stuff like that, but page settings it's a whole different experience than if you have a Facebook group managed that has a whole set of processes and rules and things to abide by. I do know that switch would come with administration. Probably might be the biggest problem, but I feel like there is a lot of positive interaction that could happen on a Facebook page between. I do know that it opens us. I just wanted to kind of put that out there as an idea, because I think that there are a lot of people in this community that do want to interact positively, and we want to ask some questions. And Facebook, regardless of how we feel about it, it is a central hub for a lot of community. Every organization or school on this island is using it. Throw it out there as a possible thing to look at to refine that experience a little more.
Back to that point of engagement. Marketing 101. 100% right. The maintenance of how the school, to be really honest, but like this meeting, right? Coffee with the Principal by Susie Richards. Everyone, that's elementary school. Tell people at the high school and middle school parents, you need to come to this meeting because there's nothing in this meeting right here by itself. I mean, this is, and this meeting needs to be the Coffee with the Principal, yes, but all grades hosted at the. There's stuff that comes out in this meeting here. That's why I'm here all the time. I've got many things to do, but at these meetings, because I learn something. And I keep telling other people at the middle and high school, the parents, you need to come to this. And they, well, no, I said elementary school. No, it's not. Okay. And so, I mean, this is Susie's brainchild, I think, and credit for that. This is a fan. And to the administration, it'd be the superintendent's meeting. She's stepping up to do the job that the superintendent has left a hole here. And I've said that to her. Those words, I've said that to her. Oh, and say, well, I'm doing your job, so I need to, we need to have someone else bring that forward and say, this is a bigger meeting. It just happens at the elementary school.
I think that brings up a very interesting point because I look around and, we all Friday morning and I think but I've constantly wondered how we get more butts in these seats. Truly, like to make this worth your time away from what you're doing for our district. I mean, we're all valuable here, but there's 6 of us. There should be a whole lot more people engaging in these meetings. And I have constantly racked my brain about how to get more people here. And I don't know if it's the day or time. I don't know what it is. But I love this thought of engagement between, and especially involving other.
There's a
grades.
huge barrier, but, because, I go out and I go out and I literally invite people to these meetings. They're going to cover this and you've complained about this. Please come to this meeting. Oh, that's, no, it's not. Okay. And those people still don't show up and they have time. I know they have time. Oh, it's a challenge.
So it's a problem, and not just here, but so we did have coffee with the superintendent for a few years and nobody showed up. I mean, they really like the same person.
When was that?
It was before pandemic. Yeah, pre-pandemic.
Coffee with the school district.
Yeah,
Might be worth a try again. We're now,
Right.
many years past with a
Right.
whole different crowd in the school. But I get the hesitancy if it wasn't.
well,
wasn't a thing.
I
What
would,
if we were to, what if we, he said me,
Yes.
as if I'm going to be involved in
What
making this
meeting am
happen.
I at?
And a new
This is the
superintendent that
royal
she just
we,
said, what an
okay?
interesting opportunity.
What if you just put an S on the end of it? And now and then, it's coffee with the principals, and now and then another principal shows up, okay? I mean,
But we
is
gotta,
that, is,
we also
is-
have to make it worth their while. If there's gonna be principals in this room, man, goodness, like I need my people to be showing for these people. I'll go rally for that if we feel like doing it, but it's gonna take a big rally to get people trusting and engaging enough. Cause I don't wanna take principals out of buildings unless it's gonna be. worth it.
and I do believe Principal Patton and Principal Phillips have had their own things at their buildings. This is a different, and I think this is the first year that this has been like with a guest speaker. I don't remember it being with a guest speaker last year. And so,
about half of them were guest speakers, and we had people like Readiness to Learn come in and that sort of thing. But even the superintendent thing, there was an absolutely fantastic meeting talking about the superintendent process and that it wasn't in that PowerPoint slide thing with the arrows and all that, but it was a fantastic meeting where we were talking about the entire process, massively educational. And there were 6 of us, you know?
Yeah.
Yes.
You mean it wasn't easy to understand? Is that what you're trying to say?
What?
No, I'm just kidding.
No, no. HYA, I think that was the search firm, did a fantastic job of actually
Yeah. and
saying what was going on.
Did you see how many people were here for the superintendent questions? I saw more teachers here. Not the superintendent questions one-on-one for 11 hours. I saw more teachers in the audience at the superintendent questions the other night than I've seen parents or students or anything. That was after hours. Yes, it was late.
See, so like for me, I can make this meeting, but I can't make an after hours. And there's other parents who are just the opposite.
And they
So
made that available on Zoom.
How to
Yeah.
accommodate that? That's a major
They
problem.
made that available on Zoom. It wasn't recorded, that particular one. But most of these are also recorded and then available on our YouTube channel. Is that correct? Right. So you can get these meetings later, which is why we're talking into these fancy things. But I
It's our
think that
favorite.
for sure, there is a difference in that this is geared towards elementary kids. I get that. You went like, and I was like, absolutely. I would never think that anybody that I know has a high school child should be at this meeting. Ever. Never got that indication on a flyer, never got that indication on an announcement that if you didn't have an elementary school child, you could be here. I mean, you're on an elementary school campus, so it's just
Who's an
logical
elementary school,
logical
who's
to
an
think.
elementary school principal, right? And
Right, so it's logical to think that. So maybe just changing the wording, like everybody's invited or whatever.
And Susie deserves a huge shout out. And it needs to be done a huge leadership.
Agreed.
role in making this.
So we have a leadership meeting next week with all of the principals, and we can definitely bring this up to them and ask them what their thoughts on it. But well, and it's the same thing with the school board meetings. People say this all the time, like, why don't we have more people at the school board meetings? And the school board meetings are like twice a month, every month, right? And yet the same 2 or 3 people are the ones that show up for those. And it is challenging, which is why Parent Square and website, because I think parents are busy. I mean, they're raising their kids, they're working their jobs, they're taking care of as much as they can, extracurriculars and everything else. And some people have time at different times of the day. And unfortunately, we can't repeat the same thing at different times, except by doing it via YouTube or having it available on the website. So that's our hope, is to get the communication out there so that you can get it when you need it, how you need it, as much as possible. But all of the feedback is great, and we'll take it. Changes are made when feedback is provided.
And my only suggestion here is just try. I mean, it's sitting up there. That would be really.
Yeah. Yeah, we can definitely do that. Maybe it's just the locations at the elementary school. It's not the elementary school event. Mhm. Yeah, for all parents. Absolutely.
Can't be loitering around on this campus being from a different campus. You just can't.
Right.
Even if we find a high schooler roaming around our campus, we're going to be like, hi, can we help you? Yeah.
Maybe also using the Facebook post for a specific one that would be more focused district-wide, like this kind of a meeting it is more broad.
Yeah.
Being calling out like, hey Cougars, hey Falcon parents, this particular one at this campus this day might be valuable for everyone because it's more,
Everyone.
because there have been a few topics here where if I was a high school parent and I showed up, I'd be like, wait, am I here? So we might be able to tailor that a little bit.
I can definitely do that. I did want to mention, just as far as the social media goes, it was a big decision to remove commenting. And I'm not, so for every post, remove commenting. So for every post, I have to remove commenting, like each time. So sometimes I'm really late. Yeah, yeah. So I have to do it and I have to do it when I get it out. And so sometimes I get too busy and I don't do it and comments come up. And it's not that we don't want comments. The hardship is that I don't have the time to answer comments and to monitor it. And so, this is I got the tip to turn off the comments from a statewide conference where they discussed it, that was the best way to do it, because that way the info is, I have the email out there. If you have a question or if you want, ask something, that would be where to ask it. And if you want to comment on the post, you can share it on your post. Share the post and then say what you want to say on your own post. But as far as the district ones, I'd have to be able to, and we had a lot for a while there, a lot of people were being very negative. And so that was, yeah. My husband will kill me. No, exactly. So, yeah, so as you know, the schools each have their own page, and this is under activities is where we have coffee with the principal, and all of the videos are here that we've done. First year we're doing that. At one of the other meetings, we had a taking action, what you could do, and then if there's any slides or handouts, we have them there. So you can share that with friends and families,
So if I can belabor the coffee with the principal thing. Parent Square thing comes out, says time to connect with other parents and learn. Comes out only in my IT. Not on the Facebook page. I mean, there's some things you could do to advertise this a little bit better. Or,
With kids in the
or
building,
rotating it around.
to a
right.
different location, absolutely, or out.
Or, just have one principal come in one time.
I think we need to talk
Aren't
to,
you kind of the assistant principal here? You always step in whenever Susie's not here. Yeah, but I mean, you're always like Susie's backup, and so maybe one of the others.
I'd like to comment on the rotating, working in a couple different nonprofits, around in this community, that we've realized that rotating our availability to the public is one of the only ways to get the most engagement. And this has been at the same time on the same day. Now, obviously, there's a lot of factors that go into pulling employees in the same room at the same time. We get that. What I'm wondering is, I wonder if we have the ability to create a poll on the Facebook page that and turn off comments, but be like, hey, we would like to capture you. We would like to engage with you. What is your preferred time that you can show up to engage with your school? And then assimilate those results and see if they fit in any of the employee, like, can we rotate this meeting to the majority? We did that at the backyard. We had an open play time slot that
think that
was
Susie did
never
that last year.
attended. I think she posed the question to only to the people who had given their email at this meeting. It was not a district or a school district wide thing. We did it at the backyard because we had nobody showing up for an open play slot, and we were paying somebody to be there, and we are like, what time? And we slid it a half an hour later and 20 kids show. So I think it's valuable to at least take the feedback. You can't make everybody happy. But if we've got the 80% of people that can show up at, 2:00 on a Tuesday, is that possible? For probably not. I just feel like it's a nice thing to show the community. We want to find you where you're at too, to see if we can as well.
we can definitely take that. I mean, this is Principal Richards.
I was going to say, I do know Miss Richards
we're not gonna
has
make it a-
been doing things like, she's did a coffee with the principal from home on Zoom, the first one, to try to kind of be a little more flexible with the hours. And I'm sure she'll continue to try to look at that, but it was after school, and she was able to do it from home, and we were all watching from home, which was kind of wild. But it even wild for her. I think she was kind of like, what is this? But I think at the end of the day, it gave some people who couldn't have been here at this time of the day the option. And I think she said she was going to be doing that, you know, every so often too, to make sure parents can have that.
April 11th.
done it
It'll
more
be
than
at
once?
Yeah, February 7th. I guess the next one will be at 6:30 PM and April 11th.
Yeah,
will
and
be
I
at
did enjoy that difference. I mean, whether you wake up early or go to sleep, whatever, you can still be at your house and do it. That was cool.
That's also why we videotape now, so that those who can't, they can at least watch it. Mm. That's working out well. I think this is it. Is there anything else?
I want to make honorable mention about Pet Patrol. I guess that's yours. And I want to just say that has, you know, so nice at 2:30 in the morning. Able to send a really quick message saying that point, and I don't have to send emails to school. That has been really nice, and that's made my life so much easier. Thank you.
No, it's just an option.
We use it for our children who ride the bus and use the bus services. They use pickup control as their way of communicating if you're going to be picking up early, if you're going to come in late, if you're driving your child instead of taking the bus, all those little things. It's also used pretty well for absences and things
Yeah,
like
so
that.
if you go on Pickup Patrol, there's an option. You say, down and it says, what's today? Absent. And then you can actually say why they're absent.
Interesting.
And Jenny, is it Jenny? Is that how you say her name? Jenny in this office?
Uh-huh.
Trust me, she reads them because she back to me at one point and said, well, I need a doctor's excuse because
Uh-huh.
you said this and it was, and I said, well, it wasn't that. I just
But she
told
said
you
it's
she
a
was
big-
going to be gone.
Okay.
She goes, well, but you said it was a mental health day for child. And I said, yes, it was. Then you need to say that in there. So, I mean, the actual excuse you put in actually gets read by a human and there's action taken upon that. Another kudo to go out to Jenny because it's done right. It really works well.
Learn something new today.
Yeah, Pickup Patrol is only here at the elementary school. So unfortunately, when you go, and some poor sixth graders have had to learn that. From there, though, they use Parent Square. So, yeah, so, yeah, exactly. No, and they don't use it here at the elementary, but for 6 through 12, if you, if you get an attendance call, you can actually just excuse it via Parent Square. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're
Thank you,
welcome.
everybody. Just, thank you.
Yep.
Thanks for all your feedback.
Thank you.
Oh, we tabled